Hello and welcome to the Encryption Edge, your source for in-depth discussions on cryptography, cybersecurity, strategy, and the emerging technologies shaping the security environment around you. I'm Wyatt Hackathorn. I'm here joined with Parna, our security architect and post-quantum cryptography advisor. Today we're going to dive into PQC and not just theoretical, but the real-world challenges and decisions facing enterprises, governments, and technology providers as they prepare for a quantum-enabled future.
Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you for the introduction. So I would say this is a turning point for cryptography. Post-quantum cryptography has moved beyond the theory now, and it's now influencing how security teams design their crypto systems, prioritize their migration plans, and build resilience against future quantum threats. Yeah.
Yeah, so we often hear about the threat of quantum computing and the threat that it poses to RSA and ECC because of the Shor's algorithm. But can you sort of unpack for the audience the specific cryptographic primitives that are at risk, why their vulnerabilities matter now, and what characteristics a PQC algorithm must have to be viable?
Mhm. Okay, certainly. So this is one of the most important conversation I think we are having now, and so let's start with the core of the issue. So most of today's public key cryptography, if you see like the RSA algorithm, the DSA, or the ECC algorithm, this all they're all relies on mathematical problems that are computationally hard for classical computers to solve, and RSA is based on the difficulty of factoring large integers, while ECC and DSA relies on the hardness of the discrete logarithm problems. So this have been secure for decades, but only against the classical attacks, not the quantum attacks. So when you come to in quantum computing, and specifically Shor's algorithm, it allows a quantum computer to solve these problems in polynomial time. So which means once machines reach sufficient scale and stability, they could completely break the RSA, ECC, and this DSA or this asymmetric classical algorithms. So this threatens the foundational cryptographic primitives behind secure web communication, for which we use TLS or the digital signature, VPN, your email encryption, anything you think of, right? The code signing and the even the blockchain technologies. So now you may ask what makes this urgent now? So even though practical quantum computers capable of such attacks aren't here yet, is the concept of harvest now and decrypt later. So adversaries can capture encrypted data today and store it with the intention of decrypting it in the future when quantum capabilities mature. So the risk is already real for long lifespan data such as your IP or your personal records or any government communication you have, right? So now let's talk about what makes the post-quantum cryptographic algorithm viable. That was your question. So it's not enough to be quantum resistant. A viable PQC algorithm must have several key characteristics. So, in top of my mind, first thing I would say the security against quantum and the classical attacks, right? So it must be based on hard problems like lattice or error correcting codes mm, or any hash functions that are not efficiently solvable by any known quantum algorithms. Then we can talk about efficiency and performance. So algorithms must perform well on real world devices. That means key generation, faster key signing and verification, along with acceptable memory and CPU usage. Then we can also think about a very key characteristic, that is the reasonable key and signature sizes. So early PQC candidates had key and signature sizes in the hundreds or kilobytes, which caused issues with bandwidth, latency, and the storage. Now, the viable algorithms like Crystal Kyber, or the new name is MLKM, KEM, and Dilithium, or the MLDSA, to balance security and your practical size constraints. Then we also have protocol compatibility. So your PQC algorithms must integrate cleanly into the existing protocols like your TLS or SSH and the dot 509 certificates without requiring overall architectural change. So this ensures a smoother adoption and interoperability. And finally, I would say standardization and trust. Basically, the algorithm must be vetted through, rigorous cryptanalysis and standardized, like through NIST PQC projects, so organization can deploy it with confidence. So, in short, I would say the quantum threat is not just about the future; it's about preparing now, and organization need to start inventorying their cryptographic assets. They are assessing their quantum impact in their environment, and planning a transition to PQC in a way that's secure, practical, and forward compatible.
Okay.
I hope that answered your question.
Okay, yeah, so beyond crypto analysis, PQC introduces system-wide challenges around key management, certificate lifecycle, and operational agility.
Yeah, absolutely. So cryptographic agility is critical because standards are still evolving, and systems must be designed to support multiple algorithm suites concurrently, enabling a fallback or a hybrid approach and future swaps without a major architectural change. And this requires adopting a hybrid approach and integrating PQC into your daily activities, or your such as the certificate issuance workflows, your HSM, your CI/CD pipelines, and monitoring systems.
Okay, so let's kind of explore threat modeling. For your assessment experience, or from your assessment experience, how should organizations differentiate between immediate and future quantum risks, particularly considering data lifecycle and the harvest now, decrypt later attacks?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. The quantum threat model is multidimensional, right? So, for data with short confidential lifespans, say internal emails or ephemeral keys, mm, quantum risk is low in the near term. But for data requiring confidentiality spanning 10 or 20 years, financial transaction records, or your medical histories, or your government intelligence data, that data could be harvested today by the advisories. So we call this the harvest now and decrypt later scenario, where encrypted traffic is intercepted and stored until quantum computers are capable of breaking its encryption. So this elevates urgency around long-lived certificates, or your code signing keys, and your IoT device credentials embedded in your hardware for the device's lifetime. And one of the biggest challenge we see is that your certificate lifecycle management system and your public key infrastructure, right? Your PKI, these are often not designed to track algorithm agility or support mass revocation and replacement at scale, and meaning that the attack surface could grow unnoticed in these areas.
Okay, I got you. So, does that mean that the risk isn't just about cryptographic algorithm itself, but also the sort of operational systems around the certificates and keys, like a certificate lifecycle management system?
Yeah, precisely. So, PQC readiness requires a holistic overview. So, crypto agility is linked with the inventory management, your automated renewal and revocation workflows for your certificates or for your keys, and continuous compliance checks. So solutions like Secure Manager, which is a certificate lifecycle management solution, for instance, can provide the automation needed to handle mass revocation scenarios, and triggered by quantum algorithm deprecation or a CA distrust events, or which are basically critical in large scale migrations.
Gotcha. So a big part of it is kind of making sure that the systems that you have in now are able to and create a environment where you have systems that are cryptally agile. If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's about it for today's episode on the Encryption Edge. In the next one, we are going to keep it a little bit quicker. We're going to do rapid fire questions on post-quantum cryptography again, and we'll take some questions from people who are listening and cover those in the next episode. If there's anything you want to hear covered, send it over to info@encryptionconsulting.com. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to share this podcast with others. Until next time, stay secure.